Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Anuradha Kunte, Yeralavani Community Radio, Sangli, Maharashtra.
Welcome all. You are listening to STEM Popularization Podcast. In our day-to-day life, wheat, rice and grains are major part of our food. For common population, these ingredients are very important in terms of energy and good health. In today's podcast, we bring you a research on development of improved varieties of wheat, soybean and rice. We welcome Dr. Ravindra Patil. Ravindra Patil is the Scientist D working on Genetics and Plant Improvement section in Agarkar Research Institute, Pune. The focal area of Dr. Ravindra Ji is development of semi-dwarf wheat with improved seedling vigor suitable for conservation agriculture. So let's get more insight from Dr. Ravindra Ji.
As we all know, wheat is a staple food for population all over the world. So it provides us protein, calories in our diet. And in India, we are almost producing around 110 million tons of wheat. But at the same time, we have to maintain productivity in spite of different abiotic stresses like limited moisture available at the time of sowing. So we have to improve varieties that can sustain that limited moisture availability. At the same time, there is one more problem with rice wheat cultivation cropping system in northwestern plain zone and northeastern plain zone, whereas the farmer get very less window after harvesting of paddy or rice. He get very less time to sow the next crop, that is wheat. So we don't have right now varieties which can emerge through the rice stubbles. So that's why farmer has to burn all the stubble. So we have to develop varieties which can emerge through the rice stubble. So we are working on that topic, and that's why we wish to improve the early vigor of wheat so that it can emerge very well in limited moisture condition as well as in presence of rice stubble. So that is the main objective. So in past what happened, our need was to improve the productivity, and that's what we have achieved during Green Revolution. So we have introduced some dwarfing genes in wheat, and those genes are giving response to fertilizers. That's how we could achieve the higher productivity. But at the same time, when we achieved this higher productivity, we have lost the early vigor in wheat. Due to that loss of early vigor in wheat, our present varieties which we cultivate in India now, those varieties are having traditional genes, due to which their early vigor is up to the mark. So that is why these present varieties are not suitable for limited moisture conditions, as well as in presence of stubble. If we sow them, they found very difficult to emerge through the presence of stubble. So that is why we have to now develop varieties which are having high early vigor. So presently we are working on that, and we are using some alternative dwarfing genes to improve this early vigor, so that we can get the semi-dwarf plant height. At the same time, their vigor will be improved. If we can generate a plant type which is having semi-dwarf height, but at the same time the improved early vigor, we can replace the existing wheat varieties with the newer semi-dark varieties, and those varieties will have potential in northwestern plain zone as well as in northeastern plain zone where rice wheat cropping system is there. So we can develop new varieties using these alternative dwarfing genes, and the target area will be the main wheat growing zone of India. As a scientist, I am working in the area of pre-breeding. So pre-breeding is a part which comes before the actual breeding, plant breeding. So actual plant breeding is an applied area wherein we deploy all our genomic and genetic resources to develop new variety. So that is actually process of developing new variety. But before going to development of new variety, we have to identify the sources of new target traits. Like we have to identify sources like genetic stocks. We need to identify which particular line is having the trait of interest, that we need to identify. What particular gene is responsible for that trait, that has to be identified, and my role comes there. So we are trying to identify the genes which can contribute to improvement of early vigor or which can contribute to the plant stature, that will be useful for the breeders.
You are listening to STEM Popularization Podcast. Dr. Ravindra ji explained well about the need of development of new varieties in wheat, soybean, rice, and furthermore on the improved varieties developed by Dr. Ravindra ji. Dr. Ravindra ji is aiming to support resources involved in generation of new variety in pre-breeding area. Now we would like to hear more on the varieties developed by Dr. Ravindra ji and the progress of his research in comparison to the world. He is also adding about the different associations involved in taking the research ahead.
The breeding lines are not given any name, but they are numbers. But whatever varieties we have developed, those are like MSCS 4058 is there, MSCS 6222 is there, MSCS 6478 is there. So some of the varieties are of, we cultivate 3 species in India: bread wheat, durum wheat and khapli wheat. Khapli wheat is cultivated in patches along the border of Maharashtra and Karnataka. So we have developed MSCS 2971 as a khapli wheat variety. Then bread wheat is used for making chapati, bread and biscuits. For that we have developed MSCS 6222 and MSCS 6478. Durum wheat is used is popularly known as Bansi wheat, and it is used for making pasta products. These are the recent wheat varieties which we have developed. In case of wheat production, India is ranking second after China. So we are producing around 112 million tons in 2023. So production wise, we are achieving our targets, but still we have to go on increasing our targets as the population is growing. At the same time, different constraints are coming up, like climatic change is there, then limitations of resources are there. Countries like India, for example, Australia, where they are facing same issue of limited moisture content at the time of wheat sowing, so they are also working on the same area, and we are actually collaborating with them in some part of our research to get their help or to help them in the same area. This particular part of research has been funded by ICAR NSF, National Agriculture Science Fund. So we are leading that project, and our collaborator is Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi. So Dr. Hari Krishna is collaborating with us. So in association with Hari Krishna, we are promoting our lines and we are testing our lines in rice wheat cropping system. They are helping us to test our lines because their area near Delhi, they have rice wheat cropping system. So it is very easy for them to test our lines in their area. In presence of stubble, they are testing the lines, and we can get some good lines which can emerge through the rice stubbles. And for limited moisture conditions, we are collaborating with Dharwad people as well as NISM Baramati. That is, there is one ICR institute, NISM. So we are collaborating with them to test our lines tolerance to limited moisture conditions. For this season also, we are testing our advanced breeding lines in the field. By the end of this season, we may come up with some good lines. So as I said, this project is funded by ICAR, but we are developing lines, and what happens, this is our past experience, that whenever we work on some basic aspect, we get funds from public funded institutions. But once we develop a better line or better variety, then the private players comes into pictures, and actually they are interested in developed varieties. Whenever we release a new variety, we get indents from private seed industries. In India, there are a lot of seed industries are available, so they put up some indent for our breeder seed, and through them we can disseminate our varieties to the farming community. So the industry players, they help us to disseminate our variety actually. We have public-private partnership with ITC, then give our breeder seed to some private industries also. In association with private player, we conduct some frontline demonstrations at farmers' fields. So this is how they can help us in disseminating our products. Frequently, we are getting grants from different funding agencies like ACRB, NSF, DBT. So these grants help us to run our lab. Plus, we are getting general support from DST. About our publications, during last 5 years, I have published 10 research papers in peer-reviewed journal. So whenever we get some good variety, that is also published in Indian journal.
Thank you, Dr. Ravindra Patil ji, for joining us on STEM Popularization Podcast.
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Anuradha Kunte, Yeralawani Community Radio, Sangli, Maharashtra.